Okay, welcome to the podcast. I am hanging out with Gordon Fontaine. How you doing, sir?
Doing all right.
Awesome. So you are the owner of, let me make sure I get this pronunciation. Is it Soffritto
Sofrito, yeah.
Oil and Vinegar Bar?
Yeah.
Um,
Chief olive oil officer actually is my,
I love it.
that's what I do.
So what I love is with what I get to do for a living. My main company is Alberta Beer Festivals, but through
Okay.
that I have just met so many cool people,
I bet.
and so to learn that there's someone like yourself that is this passionate about something, I have a feeling I'm going to learn a lot.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm excited. What are you opening
Uh,
as we chat here?
So, yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
I messed up the pull tab, but opening up an ultra premium olive oil.
Nice.
Yeah, so we'll inevitably that ends, or it takes part in almost every conversation that I have these days is
Yeah.
olive oil. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So I was asking you, and I don't want to I'm going to ask you probably what you would define as a lot of stupid questions just because I know very little about this.
No
One of the
stupid
things,
questions.
oh, trust me, I'll prove that wrong. One of the things that I always hear, and I want to figure out why this is the case, but you always hear that a lot of the olive oils that you would buy, say if you went to like a supermarket, like a
Hmm.
big chain store or whatever, are already rancid when you buy them. So A, is that true? And B, why is that the case?
Yes, I would say it's very true. A lot of times, if it's been studied, which it has been, in quite a lot of places, in North America, is you hear things like 7, 8, or 9 out of 10 are not extra virgin.
Okay.
So they're not pure. They're not what the label says they are. So
Right.
yeah, it definitely happens. It's rampant. I think Canada is maybe getting a touch better at it.
Right.
I've actually had CFIA kind of inquire about our oil and stuff like that, which you know, nobody wants calls from a government agency, but um, I applaud it. Like
Yeah.
that's great that somebody is well versed in it and wants to know and ask for a sample and they tested it, and so I like that. That's great.
Yeah.
They need to do more of it because there's quite a bit sneaking through the doors, particularly in the bigger chains that are under a lot of cost pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's they're basically saying that you're buying one thing and you're buying another kind of thing. Is that
E-
oftentimes the case?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting.
it's yeah, there's quite a few different ways that they do it. Maybe four big ones, but lots of blends of different oils
Right.
and stuff like that, which is absurdly dangerous, but it happens. Nut and seed oils, getting blended with olive oil and sold as olive oil, and little Johnny has a nut allergy.
Oh yeah.
It's not a good time.
Yeah. No kidding.
In very small increments. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, as you drizzle some olive oil in your dish that you start it with, and little Johnny kind of feels a bit off, or maybe doesn't quite realize he has a nut allergy, and you don't realize you're giving it to him. So that's a problem.
Yeah.
And then there's like low column deodorization, where they basically inject high pressurized steam into olive oil, which just robs it of all of its nasty smells and tastes. But it also just strips away everything in the olive oil that was good for you.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
so, part one of that problem is the oil went bad. So it's really no longer, viable for your body to gain anything from.
Right.
And then they have to get rid of the musty and fusty smells and
Yeah.
taste and stuff like that. So they basically, yeah, they strip all of the stuff out of it
Yeah.
to get rid of that. And you're basically left with, I don't know, olive grease, we'll call it,
Yeah.
maybe,
Huh.
if that's the right way to put it. Um, and then there's just age. Like
Yeah.
you see a lot of stuff that is just absurdly old. It hasn't been cleansed or purified or anything like that, which is it's just a bad practice. So
Yeah.
what's good for you in olive oil is dying over time. So the Michael Bradley, a guy that I look up to quite a bit, says olive oil becomes a shadow of itself every day. So
Okay.
it's always a race against time. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so Sofrito, what maybe if someone's never, met you, never been to a Sofrito's, explain what it is. What is the concept?
The concept is primarily olive oil and balsamic vinegar based.
Okay.
on, 1/3 of our business. The other third of our business is going to be meals to go, and stuff that you finish at home.
Okay.
And then in addition to that would be fresh pasta production. So we have machines in almost every, yeah, well, we have them in every location now
Nice.
to produce pasta. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's something that we're really, really passionate about. And then, there's other sort of offshoots of, we do lots of lunches. We do some catering if I'm in the right mood and it's the right fit for what we do,
Right.
stuff like that. And so, yeah, I think I described our Soffritto as a bit of an onion. We've got quite a few things going on. Like just today, I um, did the holiday meal for a real estate company.
Right.
They bring in all the sides and fixings, and they like to make all that stuff, but they leave the heavy lifting for us. So,
Right.
and so yeah, we made all their turkeys, we brined them, and we did brisket for them. So, it kind of, that's the onion part of
Yeah.
Soffritto, where it's like, okay, you're Italian focused, then all of a sudden you're making really cool brisket, and it is quite good. So, yeah, Soffritto follows my passions, and they're primarily based in Mediterranean type things. But
Yeah.
if it's challenging or interesting, or I have the equipment to produce something fantastic, we'll try it. We'll do
Yeah.
it.
Where does that passion come from? Where does like Italian specifically? Where did that come from?
I don't necessarily know. I think that it just seemed to be what was accessible as I
Mm-hmm.
was developing ways to cook for myself, or and then a lot of restaurants these days, particularly in Calgary, are sort of somewhat Mediterranean focused or influenced by Mediterranean. So
Yeah.
I think I grew up with it partially, and then it just seemed to be what I was trying to recreate or emulate every time I was learning. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I kind of want to do a dive into, I guess your history. I
Mhm.
want to get a context of, how you got to where you are today and kind of the success and some of your philosophies. But one of the things that struck me is early in your career, you worked for Earls. And I've come across a lot of people in my kind of life that have worked for Earls. And I always find that they've always see it as a very good kind of foundation to their career. I'm curious for you, what was the significance of working at Earls, and how did that help shape your career?
Um, yeah, there's a couple of different things. As a younger person, like I think I started working there when I was 15.
Right.
I think by the time left, I was 24. So I worked there for quite a while.
Yeah.
I don't know, 15 or 16 years old, when you're starting to make tips and you're starting to, I think they described it, I don't know if they still do, is, you're basically, you're your own business here. Like as a busboy, the faster you clean that table, that means we can get another table going, or the faster that, that server gets helped, or a mess cleaned up, your tip out might be a bit more.
Yeah.
And then, it's like that sort of stuff just, it resonated with me. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I can really turn it on, and I can hustle a bit more and clean twice as many tables. And then the, maybe the better part of that age is that they were noticing, like,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, Gord makes a little bit more than everyone else, or he
Right.
works a bit longer and later. So it was that sort of business type thing. An absurd thing that I always remember when this topic comes up is that the Earls that I worked at was in Southport.
Okay.
So there was a movie theater around the corner.
Yeah.
Cheap Tuesday, the movie night.
Yeah.
And it was, the 6 o'clock shows were hard to get, and people wanted to come eat. So me and a couple of other busboys just developed this program where we got permission to bring in an extra busboy, and we would run and buy the movie tickets. So we'd
Oh,
take the
wow.
orders for the movie tickets, and we made, like, the tips for that. People were just so they were so thankful for
Yeah.
that service, and we got it right. I can't remember exactly, but 99% of the time we
Yeah.
were bang on. And so yeah, we just, like, we created this own little economy for ourselves of
Yeah.
making sure the restaurant was taken care of, but also then taking care of the guest, and then that made the servers happy. They get more customers that knew that they could do it. And so yeah, we building a business there. I think
Yeah.
that was it. And then food quality. At the time that I'd worked there, I don't know when that would have been 93, 94. I sort of viewed it or got exposure to when Earls was kind of going away from, nachos and, cheese sticks and stuff like that to,
Right.
they were trying to do different higher end items, and, there's ingredients that I hadn't really heard of, or, you know, a nasi goreng, rice dish. I was like, what the heck is that? I got to, and so they allowed you to be curious. They wanted you to be curious so you could
Right.
explain it, or, they wanted you to sort of know and understand the differences about what Earls did and what the competition did. And I don't know, I just love the constant sort of tinkering with the menu and new things and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And so, yeah, my own business, or my own little economy that I could have an effect on.
And then that just kind of, when you're that young, that I guess it helps shape kind of your mentality that you bring to the rest of your career. Is that
Sure.
fair?
It didn't help my grades when I was younger, that's for sure.
That's okay. You were making money,
Oh,
more money than the other kids.
honestly, yeah, there's some days where I probably wonder, I'm like, I wonder if I made more money when I was, 17 or 18 years
Yeah.
old.
I was talking to a guy that was saying that like when he was a bartender and a server, as he kind of advanced in his career, it was quite a few times where he was taking pay cuts, even though his job title was getting more substantial. It's like
Yeah,
shit, I was making more as a server
very
or as a
true.
bartender than
Yeah,
I am now. So
yeah.
yeah, that's an interesting part of the deal. And then nightclubs. You worked at a couple of nightclubs, so kind of I'm curious, like, what was it at this point in the career that resonated with you, where you kind of stayed in the hospitality industry and kind of amped it up to nightclubs?
You know what? I think it had a lot to do with, I moved out of my family home at 18. I was on my own. I needed to make money, and
Yeah,
and I really, I like that fast paced environment. And again,
yeah,
I was in charge of my own personal economy. The harder I worked, the more of a tip out that I got from other people, and
yeah,
and then eventually started bartending and stuff like that as well. But just down the street, actually, it was funny. I'm walking here. I'm like, oh, there's the Fox and Firkin. I used to
yeah.
work
The
there. There's
Fox
the
and
King's
Firkin.
Horse, right? And
Was
so,
it Last Best? It was the Fox and Firkin.
uh, last best I think is the King's Horse, and
Okay.
then beside last best, I don't know if they extend. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's broken up in the middle
It
anymore,
never.
but
It isn't anymore. But
okay.
yeah, it used to be. I
So
I
yeah, there's
remember that.
something
Yeah.
where the Fox and Firkin was, and so around the corner, I worked at the Drink for a little while,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and um, yeah, you know what? It was a good time to be in that business.
Yeah.
They were busy. There wasn't a major saturation of that type of business, so they were always busy.
Right.
They were always lined up. It was always fun,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was on my own. I was 20 years old and needed to pay my bills and like nice cars, and so it was a good fit.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely. So then you went away and from the hospitality, you worked for a company called Enerflex.
yeah,
Um, just that experience. What I'm always interested in is, and I've talked to lots of people who have decided to leave
yeah.
hospitality, and then for whatever reason they come back. So you did get away from it for a while. What was that experience, and what drew you back into it, into the hospitality as a result of that experience?
For like, I love working with my hands. I thought it was a very it was a great time of my life, getting to work for Interflex. And so, yeah, I thought that was going to be my path. I thought that was going to be, I think this will be it. I started at the bottom in the pressure testing bay, and was just pressure testing pipe all day long. Learned how to drive forklifts and use cranes and
Yeah,
and all that sort of stuff, and then eventually made my way onto the floor, as an apprentice pipe fitter. Or I was gonna start an apprenticeship for pipe fitting. So I was fitting pipe with an actual pipe fitter, and we were, making lots of great things, fitting stuff on units and taking them back for welding, and then cutting that pipe as well. Like, yeah, I would cut pipe like probably halfway across the street long, and
yeah,
have it within a millimeter and stuff like that. I like that detail, or
yeah,
that challenge to get it done and get it done quickly and get it marked and on to the next job.
yeah,
So, yeah, I liked kind of that fast-paced production where you can see, basically it's giant Lego. You're watching what you're building, come up out of the ground and off of a print, and I thought that was just, yeah, I thought that was going to be it. And then, yeah, oil and gas slowed down,
yeah.
and inevitably, I think it happens to everyone. You've probably heard that a
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
thousand times.
Yeah.
Um, it, but yeah, I took it. It was personal for me, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can deal with this my whole life.
Yeah.
And lots of people, the welding shops and pipe fitting shops, they can be pretty frank and places where people just give you the truth pretty directly. And
Yeah.
I had quite a few people say to me like, hey, like this is the job, like it happens, and you've had a great run here, you should be proud of it, but if you can't take it, this business isn't for you.
Yeah.
So I maybe if I'd had some different coaching, I might have stuck it out a little bit, but
Yeah.
I just decided, well, look it, I'm on my own. I know what I'm doing in restaurants and bars and stuff like that. So yeah, I stumbled across a friend of mine working at Melrose after that,
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, we need a guy, and man, do I want to work with you again. This would be awesome.
And when was that? When were you in Melrose?
Um, I've got to go backwards. It was probably 2003, 2004.
So kind of like right in the heyday of
Mm-hmm.
Melrose, and like
Yeah,
that's
probably, yeah, like right. Yeah,
like the Red Mile kind of years.
prior to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Eh?
yeah,
Sweet.
yeah. So, yeah, it was before Melrose had been rebuilt. It was in a state of constant rebuilding for
Yeah.
forever. And that was basically when I had started there. And like they were, we were bartending upstairs. They had poured a concrete floor the year before, and there's literally excavators underneath, like
Yeah.
digging it. It smelled like diesel in there, and so yeah, it was a cool time to be working there because I'm interested in working with my hands, and I'm interested in seeing what people are doing, and I
Yeah.
I like to be a part of something growing and bustling, and it definitely was. The place was yeah, it was hopping. It was really good.
Yeah, that was the place. Like if anyone came from, like if any one of my friends, if they were ever coming, like
Yeah,
doesn't matter where, like Toronto, I remember a buddy, like it was always like 17th,
gotta go
always
there.
Melrose. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah. I did leave before the Red Mile.
Did you?
Yeah, it might have been about 2 years, I think, before that happened.
Yeah, sweet.
So yeah, it was fun to watch. I made it down there a few times. I
Yeah.
was, I was able to get in because I still knew people there, so that was great. But yeah, absurd success story there. I love those guys. Like I look up to them a lot.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and when you see success stories like that in that industry, because it's not an easy industry to succeed in, right? You see a lot of restaurants and bars kind of opening and closing. So yeah, when you see a success story,
Yeah.
it's always cool to see. Then you left again. You went to the cash store.
Yeah.
And then what was I found fascinating about that part of your journey is just the amount of growth that you guys saw over like a relatively short amount of time. So maybe talk about, what you thought, based on your career to that point, what made you want to make that switch again? And then obviously again, getting out of hospitality.
Yeah. So I think it probably initially started with, me leaving Melrose started with two things. It was like, I was just tired of, rooming up with people, and, we had roommates all the time. We had great roommates, and they were all pretty decent
Yeah.
folks. But, I was like, I gotta own a house. Like this
Right.
is killing me. Like we're all putting this money in to, somebody else's mortgage. And so yeah, I went and talked to a bank. Hey, I've been a steadily employed guy since I was 8 years old. So what do you think? And they said, yeah, we can lend you about 35,000. I said, I'm not looking for a truck. I need to buy a
Yeah.
house. And so that's what sparked my move to go to work for the cash store, just a bit more of a what I thought the bank would view as a bit of a more stable employment, or more regular employment, I guess.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I just absolutely could not stand the cigarette smoke anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that shower at the end of your shift when it just all comes down your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, there becomes a time.
Yes.
So yeah, I went on to work for my friend's company. So my friend and his dad started the cash store. I opened up their 19th store in Forest Lawn,
Yeah.
and just took it absurdly seriously, and really just nerded out the best I could of just every finite little detail, and really absorbed the training that I got from I don't even remember what that lady's name was. Virginia. She was absurdly passionate about the business, and doing it right, and making sure that everything was where it was supposed to be, and making
Yeah.
the right decisions for for the business and the clients, and yeah, we took off from there. I think at the end of it we had just a little over 500 stores.
So, and you said you were the 19th
Mhm.
store,
Yeah.
and by the time you left, you had 500 stores.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, yeah. I had taken a few steps from opening the 19th store to being a regional manager, and then eventually at the end I was the national sales manager for Canada. So um, probably in over my head as far as that position went,
Yeah.
but starting from nearly ground zero, um, I just yeah those fine details of how the stores run and how they should operate and the problems that staff might experience and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I just was able to catalog all that and find solutions and get solutions. And you know with it being one of my best friends companies, I was able to get good resources information anytime I needed. So it just helped me build my library of how to help these stores and how to fix these stores and overcome objections and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that was my final role there was a certain product that was just underperforming and was just kind of vastly understood by the staff. So I just went on a sales tour of all of Canada with my buddy Wayne Campbell. We sort of had the Gordon Wayne show that we did literally in every small town that you possibly can imagine. We'd try and get the other stores together, and 15 people and 30 people, and there's 1,500 people in the company, and I think we did almost all of them.
Yeah.
Um, in a bit of sales training and just sort of turning up their positive attitudes and listening to them and working the whole day with the entire company.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've produced great results. And yeah, that was about a 7 year ride, 7 or 8 year ride for me, I think, working for the cash store. So
So
yeah,
you mentioned that your territory was Canada.
at
So
the
I
end,
don't
yeah.
know if people understand how big Canada is, but um, I'm curious why you decided to leave. Like, was it just part of it was just like, I mean, having a territory that big is kind of like, it must be overwhelming.
Yeah, it definitely was overwhelming, and exciting at the same time. Like
Yeah.
keeping in mind, so okay, yes, on one hand it's overwhelming, but um, the ride that we had been on, growing 500 locations in that amount of time, and just really my piece was a very small piece of it. So um, it was just an exciting business to be in. And so going back just a little bit
Yeah.
before we describe how I or my reason for leaving or why that happened is that somewhere in that whole middle portion, what I can say about that company or that experience that I was able to take part in, really business focused. Like of all the skills and tools that I use now today, I wouldn't have even made it 6 months in my business today if I hadn't learned or had such detailed information about just my 19th store. Like
Yeah.
this company would produce a profit and loss statement for each individual location, all the way from my 19th store to 500. They'd produce it all within like 10 days.
Yeah.
Like their accounting department was just so integrated and so robust. So you could see, okay, I'm I'm not having a good impact on my business. Let's change it. Let's figure something out. And
Yeah.
so all of those, having access to all that information, most people, like, they never get to see that
Totally.
about their business. And if I share that information with my staff now today, they get sort of freaked out. They're like, "Oh, we don't want to see what you make." I'm like, "Well, here it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I We're all in this together. We're all here to produce a result, and the little things we do each day can fix this line and fix this line, and
Yeah.
we could sell more, or we could order less, stuff
Yeah.
like that." So yeah, I'm absurdly thankful
Yeah.
for what that company taught me. Um, and then yeah, I guess, why did I decide to leave? I think that was the next part
Yeah,
of the question,
well, yeah, I'm
or
curious
what did I
because
do?
all of a sudden hospitality calls you back, and you're
Yeah,
you're kind of getting that, like, you know what, I feel like a new challenge. So just curious, with what sounds to me, you're having a positive experience with the cash store, but there's something saying like,
yeah.
I want to try something new.
I think it was home. Like it was like I needed to come home. Like
Yeah,
I spent I spent a lot of time in Edmonton. I spent a lot of time on the road because that's where the head office was in Edmonton.
Yeah.
And as much as I loved that, I loved Edmonton. It was a lovely place to be. It was around my friends, and it was great. But I was recently married, or newly married at the time, and yeah, just away a lot, and a part of this exciting ride that's also sort of exhausting when you come down to it, or when you come down from it. It's like, yeah, I need to be home.
Yeah.
I need to be around. I don't. We had made the decision that we weren't going to move to Edmonton. I think I'd been asked a few times, like, hey, you should come this way and be in the head office more. And my wife was pretty settled here, and so yeah, we just said, no, we're gonna stay here, and I'll
Yeah.
commute. So yeah, that was kind of, yeah, the reason for it, is I needed
Yeah.
to be home. And then, yeah, a lot of time focused on that food, a lot of time in airplanes, and a lot of time being interested in running my own business. I had all these nuts and bolts that I had learned at the cash store. So
Yeah.
I knew how to run a business. I knew how to sign a lease. I knew what insurance I needed. I knew how to get, debit machines, and it seemed fairly easy for me to just turn that switch and go, okay, I think I'm pretty smart. I think I'm good at running a business.
Yeah.
I've managed and ran other businesses, and it just came to be the point where my wife and I, we didn't have our daughter yet. I 10 years, or maybe it was 8 years previous, we had bought a house.
Yeah.
So we had that squared away. We basically, it came to a math decision of like, okay, if I screw this up and we start this business, and I give up my stable, well-paying job, if it doesn't work, I could go back to bartending a few nights a week and just
Right.
pull myself out of the ditch if I fail, like a lot of businesses do. So yeah, we had a stable home that we knew we would never lose, and we didn't have a child that it would impact, and
Yeah.
I wanted to be home more. So you start to say these things, and it just sort of makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of it until just now. I'd done a meeting with our Edward Jones advisor, and he's like,
Okay.
what's one of your top goals? And I was like, I'd like to own my own business.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that ink is like forever in the back of my mind, of like, I wonder what happened if I didn't write that down.
Yeah. That's
I wonder
cool,
if it
eh?
would have ever materialized.
Yeah. And sometimes just it's the actual act of writing it down and
Mhm.
seeing it and reading it. And a lot of times just, saying it, and like saying it to someone else, and like
Yeah.
making it, it's just like, okay, that's really cool. The reason I wanted to talk about all the things that you did, I think you have a really diverse background, but I've had a lot of conversations with people where they see part of what they did in the back, in their background, as almost like, I wasted this time doing this, and I wasted this time doing that. But oftentimes you'll gain insight from something that doesn't seem to be connected, but somehow becomes the most connected. So to your point with the cash store, so much of what you do, the businesses are not the same, but a lot of the actual running of the business is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can't say enough good things about what I learned, and learning, and some of it by accident, I
Yeah.
suppose, or when I first started, not realizing what I would use those
Yeah.
things for. But I think in my business, in customer service, or of me owning a business, it's a part of the 10,000 hours, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
we all got to put in that time to become proficient at something, and for being a business owner, you got to become proficient at a lot of things. So
Yeah.
you might not get to 10,000 in all of them, but you probably get to 3,000 or 4,000. So
Totally. Yeah.
like,
Well, and the things that you do get 10,000 in, all of a sudden you become pretty damn good at those things, especially if it's something that you're naturally curious about, and something that you realize you want to lean into.
yeah.
Okay, so then in 2010 you start Soffritto's,
Mhm.
correct? Where did the idea come from? Because that seems to be different than anything you've done. Because it seems there's something very specific about the idea.
Yeah. Where did it come from? When we had first started looking at businesses to either start from the ground up, we didn't quite have enough money for that. And then, we had looked at a couple of other businesses that were coffee shop like, and maybe didn't quite have a robust food culture built into them, but they had the bones in the building, and looked at a couple of those and couldn't
Yeah.
really come to a decision there. The coffee side of it, I really like coffee, and I could probably nerd out on it and really focus, but it wasn't the main driver. And then I came across a business in Fish Creek Village in Canyon Meadows, and so um, it was called Flavors of the World at the time, and the current owner of that business had all the bones for what I would have then turned into Soffritto. So lots of fridges, a pasta machine, a meat slicer that he wasn't using. Um, it had like 19 microwaves. That's a whole other story. That's an exaggeration. I think it was 7, but
Still more than enough.
yeah, it's more than, yeah, I don't know how we had the power. So yeah, we'd stumbled into this business that had the nuts and bolts that we wanted. He had a really, really robust cheese section and a good business built into it. And so his story was, he was a great, he is, or I think he is still a chef. He was a great chef. And as I've come to know, working in Earls and other places, that, the chefs and cooks and stuff like that, if the customer service side of it gets a little too intense, the answers start getting quite short.
Yes.
That's maybe the politest way I could put it.
Yeah, it sounds pretty polite.
Yeah, he wasn't loving feedback that he would get from customers, or
Gotcha.
the constant phone calls and stuff like that. He wanted to focus on his craft and his trade of cooking and stuff like that, and it just wasn't happening for him. So yeah, we bought that from him. Not we didn't buy his business name or anything. We just bought the nuts and bolts of the
Yeah.
business, and we started Soffritto. It was born from there, and was like, okay, well, this pasta machine, it's not really getting used all that well, and then, or often enough for doing the right things. And so just started making pasta. I'm like, wow, like these things are really quite robust, and it's starting to speak to my working with tools and horsepower and things that are getting hot and things that are mixing. I'm like, oh, this is kind of like working at Interflex a little bit, just with the tools and the
Right.
machines and stuff like that. I was like,
Yeah.
I like this. Like, this is interesting. And then we just started asking customers, what else is it that you think, well, you should make pasta every single day? We want it to be fresher. We can tell when it's getting older. From the previous iterations of it. Oh, okay, no problem. I could make a batch of pasta a day. Flour's pretty cheap. If it's not still fresh in 48 hours, I'll throw it out and make a new batch. No big deal.
Right.
And so we just started being really inquisitive with our customers. How can we serve you better? What can we do more of? And in the beginning, I had a lot of time. So um, our first month of business at Soffritto, we did $4,000 in sales.
Really?
I was like, oh shit.
How scared were you?
Unbelievably
Yeah.
scared. Like,
Yeah.
it was like I couldn't even tell Joanne. Joanne's my wife.
Yeah.
And so I was like, ooh, this is okay. Next month it'll be better. And it was only $4,300, or it started slowly, but
Right.
I had a lot of time. I had a lot of time to ask people. I had a lot of time to dial in and, do that thing for that guy that he wanted. And then he would tell his friend. And then, it just started to kind of steamroll a little bit. And that probably took, I don't know, about a year before it was like, okay, we're finally not taking money out of our own pocket for inventory and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, it's almost pretty well, yeah, it's paying for itself.
Yeah.
Ish.
Ish.
So yeah, like, it took us a long time to go, and I was just more and more determined every day, more and more, call it motivated, call it pissed off, call it gritting your teeth, whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it. I'd get in and do it every day. I'd, make as much pass as I could, and like, and it was just me at that point, because it was like $4,000. Like, I can't pay an employee.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
I'm the
No shit. I
employee.
can't pay myself with that.
I'm the
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
So cooking, cleaning, selling, shopping, cooking every day, cooking, cleaning, sell. Like, so, I learned how to hustle in the kitchen. I'll tell you that.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's kind of where was Soffritto born, I think was your question. It was born, with the nuts and bolts of what Soffritto is today at about 50%, and then just customer needs and wants.
Yeah.
Just, listening to people. And I remember, I think her name is Marilyn. Marilyn Atkinson, I think is her name. Maybe. First name's right for sure. She said to me one time, we had olive oil that we would sell. We had inherited sort of a couple of suppliers from the previous owner. And people would buy it, and it was, a bit of an income stream, and we bought a bit more. And she just says, "Hey, can you get me lemon olive oil?" I'm like, "Why don't you just squeeze lemon in it?" Like,
Yeah.
I was sort of naive.
Yeah.
But I said, sure, I'll try. I'll look
Yeah.
at it. I'll do something with it. And I tried and tried, and kind of successful with it. Found a couple little, not so good stuff, or just I still didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like this was probably a little more than a year and a half in, maybe coming up on 2 years. And I had met, I'd become friends with the neighbors. You're in business, you know your neighbors, you know who they are. I fed them a few times, and had lots of good talks because, again, in the beginning, I had lots of
Nothing
time.
but time.
Oh yeah, sitting at the front door having
Yeah.
coffee, waving
Yeah.
at people, come on in. So yeah, Dr. Joe next door,
Yeah.
naturopathic doctor. I was just at his house today to say hello and have a coffee.
Nice.
And he said to me, he goes, I was on this conference.
Yeah.
I was away in somewhere in Washington, I think it was. And you got to phone these people. Like, they had this place with all this olive oil, and I think your customers would really like it. And they
Really?
had all the stats and all the details, and they knew where it was from. And him being a naturopathic doctor, he liked the lingo that they were using with antioxidants or the polyphenols in olive oil, which we're going to taste later. And he's like, they had all these things, and he's sort of a jittery guy. Like, he
Yeah.
just gets excited and passionate, and so I was maybe, perhaps I was a little tired, after a year of just grinding 7 days a week.
Right.
And we'd started making lunch for people, and he came in at lunch to tell me this story, and I'm slicing ham, making sandwiches from scratch. Like, we wouldn't pre-slice anything.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to waste anything, so I would slice everything to order, and I'd make like 5 or 6 or 7 of these giant sandwiches at a time, and I was flying. It was like nightclub fast work.
Yeah.
Like, just going and having fun and talking to people. And he comes in and he tells me this story. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, got you. I'm making the sandwich.
Duck, I'm busy over here. Come on.
Exactly.
You're busting my balls.
Beauty of, and he is a ball buster. Yeah. And he comes back, like, I don't know, it was an hour later, we'll say, and he literally walks by my counter, grabs the phone, and just starts dialing numbers. He's like, phone these people. Like, trust me. So I phoned him, and they were a storefront like I am now. So they're supplied by Veronica Foods, and they said, well, we'd love to help you. If you're interested, I can tell you it's great, but you gotta talk to Veronica.
Right.
And so yeah, we did. We started making those phone calls, and then Joanna and I were just about to have, we were going to have our daughter Alin. So I was like, I can't really leave right now to come, because the requirement for Veronica is you come to my office in Oakland, California, and you sit down with me, and we talk, we do training, we do all these, we go through the whole process, start to finish. We talk to you about our suppliers, we talk to you about why we exist and what's important, and then we'll decide if we're going to do business with you.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
You're like,
this lady is like, she's intense. But
so did you like that, or what was your first reaction to that? Because I've had a similar experience, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of get, so what was your reaction to that mentality?
I don't remember my response exactly, but generally speaking, for me, if you want me to do something, the fastest way to get me to do it is to tell me I can't do it first. And so that was perhaps what, that's just her style, but it worked for me, because
she was
she's
using
like,
reverse psychology.
Yeah, like, I'll decide if I'm going to do business with you. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to do business with me, because I'm going to come and I'm going to wow you, and I'm going to, we're going to have great conversations, and so I think that, like, maybe that's how I remember sort of interpreting it. Like, yeah, he like,
right.
well, that kind of pissed me off, but like, I want to do it.
Yeah.
And you're going to love me because my store's great, and I have great passion, and I'm going to go somewhere, and you want to do business with me. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's how I took it.
I love it. Just curious, like with the evolution, because what I love about what you're like, you really bought like an open-ended concept, and you kind of use this. So I'm seeing
Yeah.
your evolution as, listening to customers. So and then listening to like your neighbors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So so then at what point did you just keep going on with like the evolution? Like how did this conversation kind of change the trajectory then?
So that conversation with, with Veronica was
Yeah.
like, it probably, yeah, it maybe saved our business.
Okay.
Because we gained access to literally a wall of product that was all, a 15 out of 10 for quality. It was just
Right.
amazing. And we had lots of it.
Yeah.
And the concept was cool. It was neat. And it was um, very truthful.
Right.
Like, so, when Dr. Joe was talking about, they have all this stuff. They have
Yeah.
all, they know the polyphenols, they know the oleic acids, they know the diglyceride score. And I'm like, what the heck's the diglyceride score? So our customers get all of this detail in the amount that they want or they can handle. There's there's
Okay.
a certain amount of people that are just like, I really want I just need an olive oil. We've heard this,
Right.
song and dance before, but we still always try. And so basically what changed our business, or how Veronica Foods changed our business, was just them being um, just true true business people that understand what's important in their product, and built a framework that says that you have to sell it this way,
Right.
and you have to be, this truthful and this honest, and you have to, it will do you a very good service to train your customers and have them know and understand what they're getting. And if you can, try not to ever sell one of our products without them tasting it first. Where in the world can you do that?
Yeah.
Like, and they're explaining, yeah, this is an investment of 10 mils at a time or 15 mils at a time, and you're gonna go through a lot of olive oil. Once you sort of add it up over every bottle
Yeah.
that you sell, you give away a couple mils.
Right.
But it's just, it becomes, the next sale. Like your my customers tend to be so excited for the next time that they come in,
Right.
which again is not, that doesn't always happen in every business. And so that was a major transformation in our business, because I just uh, I really, yeah, I really do well with that.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it's
find
in me.
like one of the things just listening to you talk about that is because business for a lot of people is transactional, right?
Hmm.
And like even just hearing about, okay, well, here's this opportunity with olive oil, and it might help the bottom line of the company.
Hmm.
But when did you realize that? And for you, when did it come? When did it switch from something that was like, okay, this could be another item to sell in the store, help the bottom line, to something that you found yourself passionate about?
Yeah, like it happened in Veronica's office. Like,
Really, eh?
yeah, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, the level of intensity that entire family has for their product and their
Right.
craft and what they do. If you even have a little bit of an interest in food, or an interest in food, you're infected by it. And then probably, yeah, again, on the truthful side of it, knowing how, how much the deck is stacked against the average consumer,
Right.
um, for, that flat, greasy, and dead product that's available in most places
Yeah.
versus what I have here, we're really helping people.
Yeah.
Like, this will probably, if somebody consumes our olive oil for the better part of their life, you know, they're gonna gain time in their life. It's
Yeah.
that healthy for you.
Wow.
And so, having this, big overarching, big bad olive oil business that's just, not very truthful or not very pure or not doing a good job, to like, oh my God, I can help people. And if
Yeah.
people know and understand what's great about it, and what I've done or what Veronica has done to make sure that it's great, it's just fun every day.
Yeah.
Like, it still isn't boring for me
I love
after
that.
after 13 years of doing it.
So you have the product that you're passionate about. One of the other things that I feel like is a theme is just your interest in and your passion for customer service. Curious where that mentality comes from. Like, can you trace that back to, is there somebody in, whether it's a mentor as you were, in as your career was unfolding, or where did that realization of just how important that customer relationship is, where did that come from?
Yeah, I think perhaps it probably was running those movie tickets at Earls.
Yeah.
Like, the instant gratification. I would say that I'm probably a person that thrives on the instant gratification, and I think a lot of servers are, a lot of people in food-based businesses are. But when you get to kind of start to talk to people about it, and they're genuinely saying thank you, and they're remembering you, and you become important to them and become a part of their lives, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
Or you become that you become that guy that's like, oh, my friend said to go see Gord.
Yeah.
Or to go see Soffritto and talk to the staff there, and if Gord's there, say hi. Like, I think that I don't know, that feels good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I often, like, if I run into somebody that sort of doesn't know, they've known my store and they don't know me, and they'll bring up this cool place. I'm like the hair on the back of my neck stands up, right? I just love that. And they're seeing the evolution of, or they felt the evolution of my company, and it wasn't necessarily directly attached to me. Like, right. Oh God, that's cool.
That's awesome.
I love that.
There's a term you used, and I just want you to explain what it is. The last 5% of perfection.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? So is it that you're chasing that last 5% of perfection?
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to be careful with that, because it would drive the average person crazy. The average person, my staff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I struggle with it.
Yeah.
It's something that I'm never done with. Like, I can always change. I can always a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little bit. Ooh, I need this tool. I need, like, am I obsessive compulsive? I don't know. I didn't look up the definition of that, but I am about that final bit.
Yeah.
And it just becomes more intense the closer I get to it. Like the turkey we did today for the real estate company. We've literally been, like, just playing with this process with our ovens.
Yeah.
Forever, and just getting the right setting. And I literally made an adjustment in the oven by 2 degrees, and I was just, like, so excited. I'm like, I think this is it. I think it's going to work, and I think it's going to do what I want it to do. And it like, these turkeys were like butter. They were just so smooth and soft and perfect, and I just love that.
Yeah.
But I delivered. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I turn the fan speed up just a little bit, if I get a little bit more color.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't stop it.
Yeah. When you say you have to be careful, I'm curious what that means, because one of the things, so my primary company that is Alberta Beer Festivals, and we have an amazing team. And one of the things, like, when I'm at one of our festivals, because I'm always walking the floor, and I'm hoping that the experience is how I imagined it would be in my mind, because I'm the one that puts the floor plan together. And I'm like, so I'm looking at it from a customer perspective and trying to be like, okay, what works, what's not working. And so, and all of my business partners are doing that in the areas that they're responsible for. And so when we come back together after a festival, it would sound like we were it was like a bitch session, because all we're talking about are the things that went wrong. But we're not doing it as a way of being critical. We are being critical, but not negative, because we're acknowledging it was good, but we want the next one to be better. Sure. And so to sit there and be like, oh yeah, everything was perfect. And so when you're saying, like, you got to be careful with that, it's also sometimes when you're always doing that, the greater team around you might not realize that overall you're very excited with where you're at. It's just part of your brain is going, but we always need to be better. Yeah.
Yeah. It it can become exhausting for your for your staff. They want to win.
Yeah. And they want to feel like they're contributing and that their contribution is like being appreciated right now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's part of it. On the size of the scale that we're at now, you know, when I have to become hyper focused in a certain area. If it's if it's customer service, if it's food quality, if it's how we're dealing with customers that are a little bit sort of put off by like how much we want to give them samples and stuff like that. So I can't fix that 5% in all of those different areas. And so, it can be, if you're not careful with it or you don't apply it in the right times in the right areas, it can be very demotivating for your staff because, oh, we're focusing in this area here and I'm doing a good job over here, but all we're looking at is this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, Gord's such a, he's so picky or, why can't we ever be happy? So, I'm not perfect at it. I get better at it every day. But you got to be careful not to be, really drilling down in too many areas because then it just feels like you're not successful.
Yeah.
And then as well as it takes time. So, for some, if it's an employee issue or a sales process or something like that, you might need an hour for this guy, or you might need 2 minutes for this guy.
Yeah.
And so you can't spread it.
Yeah.
And so then it becomes demotivating because to some employees because we're my example now we're harping on the kitchen. The kitchen needs to be roasting this a little bit differently, and then all of a sudden the kitchen sees a certain part of the organization is maybe underperforming. It's like, okay, well, leave me alone and go get the hell out of my hair, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the be careful side of it. I got 30 employees, right?
Yeah.
And so my pasta making crew feels that quite often where I'll be looking and nitpicking and worried about moisture and they're just like, okay,
yeah
this 5% driving me crazy. Like but we get a little bit better in each category all the time. So yeah, that pursuit is constant for me.
So one of the things that you do, I don't know if this is as a hobby or just when they tell you to get the hell out of town for a couple of days, but you talked about loving to go, your love for camping. Two things that I took away from that. One is when you're camping, you eat like a king, which is, and then that's where you go to get your ideas flowing. So I'm curious because I camp too. And when I go camping, I eat like shit. So what do you eat when you're, what are you making for yourself when you're camping?
Last year at Thanksgiving, well, Thanksgiving's coming up. So last year at Thanksgiving, we did braised short ribs, with a wild mushroom and pecorino risotto.
Oh, wow.
And then, so that was the one night. And then, the next night, full like outdoor Thanksgiving dinner, turkeys. I think we did brisket at that time too. All the sides, we have trailers and stuff like that. So it's glamping, we'll call it. But we have we all have good sized trucks. So we bring the smokers, we bring the pizza ovens, we bring deep fryers.
Wow. How are you cooking the turkey when you're camping?
We have deep fried.
I was wondering about that.
That's kind of that's come and gone. We'll still do that. I think the guys still like it, but everyone's got a pellet smoker now, right?
Yeah.
And so we heave one of those into the back of the truck, and my this guy's a beauty, Kevin. He always is like Mr. Technology and Mr. He's got it all figured out, the electronics of everything, and he's up at, I don't know, 5 a.m. putting the turkey on. We put it on smoke for a couple of hours and then crank it up to finish it. And so we have fun, we enjoy it. It gets a little bit tiring sometimes being, out in the bush trying to pull all that off. But the end result is just
Yeah.
outstanding to eat like that when it's a little bit cold outside, the fire's going.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Especially when, you need a buddy who's willing to wake up at 5 to start the
Yeah,
barbecue.
yeah, yeah.
Everyone needs a guy like that. The other thing you said about camping, which I definitely resonate with, is it's a place you go to get your ideas flowing. I sometimes don't realize how much I need to disconnect until I am out camping, and you realize just how, like physically connected to your phone you are, and just
Hmm.
physically connected, and just you need those few days to kind of let your energy level just kind of like lower again and just
Yeah.
kind of get into that flow state. So, do you have any putting you on the spot, but have you ever had like an epiphany camping where like a specific idea comes to mind where you're like isn't it an ability for you to kind of start problem solving because you're not doing it intentionally? It's almost like happening in your subconscious. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like um, I think it, camping in some instances, will be near a farmer's market. We'll need be near a small town market or something like that. And so I think that it the epiphanies that I have is just sort of a reminder, or some of them, the epiphanies that I have, the reminder of like, getting down to that, talking to that farmer,
Right.
or like seeing the little kids, selling zucchini on the side of the road, like I grew these, like um, it's a lot of those types of reminders of who we're dealing with, and how simple it can be, because a lot of times, your pantry shrinks when you go camping.
Yeah.
You got what you got.
Yeah.
And that farmer had the best looking eggplant you'd ever seen, and of course I've always got lots of olive oil around. So it you can fall in love with an ingredient, or you fall in love with, oh my God, like the char that happened on that steak, because we had cherry wood when we were camping in Montana,
Yeah.
because there's cherries everywhere there. And so like I get a lot of like execution type inspiration, or reminders of, okay, we got to, zucchinis weren't, or I don't know why I keep going back to zucchini, but like certain times of year you can't get them locally, so you end up buying them from GFS. And then,
Right.
oh, it's like, okay, did we switch back at the right time and get back to that local product when it was ready? And
Yeah.
or you get to a cool restaurant or two on the way going through Montana. There's quite a few good little eateries and stuff like that that can yeah, just sort of wake you up a little bit and
Yeah.
think. And in my format, we're doing everything to go, or like everything to sort of heat and serve and stuff like that. And so um, I find that, if it's a restaurant that I'm, or seeing a farmer's market stall doing a certain dish, or things like that, it's like, oh, that would really really work in a to go format. Or, oh, I think that would hold in the fridge for like 2 days. That would
Yeah.
be great. Or um, things like that. And so the the one thing that I'm blessed with, I think, is that our customers trust us. Like
Yeah.
we've been doing this for 15 years, and so if we want to try something new, we'll probably sell enough of it to
Yeah.
make a go of it. And if we get a good response, we'll make some more. If we So yeah, not being a franchise is a blessing, because I can take that and say, well, it's somewhat Mediterranean, or well, maybe it's not, it's brisket, or
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe it's, hey, we're gonna make an Italian style pulled pork. I don't think Italians eat pulled pork, but um,
They do in Calgary.
yeah, they
Yeah.
do in Calgary when they buy it from Soffritto.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I get inspiration from.
So your brain doesn't see. I shut my brain off when I'm camping. It sounds like your brain doesn't get shut off. It's kind of like absorbing,
Yeah,
stealing ideas. You're going to these restaurants, going, "Oh, I could do that. I
yeah,
could do
yeah,
that. I like that."
yeah.
Um, Looking back at your career, um, are there any mentors that stick out to you?
Yeah, I've got a few. I've mentioned them once or twice already, but um, the the entire Bradley family. So
Yeah.
um, Veronica Foods is our olive oil supplier,
Yeah.
family business. And so Mike and Veronica are the heads of the company, and their son's involved in stores in the area, and their two daughters, Rachel and Leah. are, I don't know exactly if what their job descriptions are, but they're kind of running the nuts and the bolts of the company,
Right.
and I think perhaps taking it over. I don't know. Sorry if that's not the plan, but I think it is. Um, for Mike and Veronica. And so, yeah, they're just, you know, they will not budge
Yeah.
um, in their quest for quality.
Yeah.
And um, the olive oil business is slippery. It's
Mhm.
full of people that, they have this subpar product that, they want to move, they want to sell, they know it's getting worse by the day. But yet here is their entire family completely focused on moving heaven and earth to get olive oil from Chile 60 days from the day it came off the tree
Yeah.
and in my store. So from a remote place in Chile to a shipping yard to being on a ship, floating to Oakland, coming off the ship if there's a strike or not a strike, that's a whole other thing. Getting it decanted into 10-liter jugs, doing the testing on it. So all of our oils get tested twice to make sure that the oil doesn't change by the time, or
Right.
it's not a different oil. And I have it in my store in 65 days,
Yeah.
and it's considered the highest grade in the world, ultra premium. And like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get teary.
That's so cool. When you think about, I picture you, in your store when you first bought it. You got lots of time on your
Hmm.
hands. I've been an entrepreneur like my whole life since university. I've been in that store. Like I had a small sports store, and I know that feeling of sitting there and going, "Oh fuck."
Hmm. Oh
If
no.
if you could give any advice to somebody who's in that situation right now,
Hmm.
what would you say?
So they're in that situation and they've just said, "Oh shit."
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just they're looking at it going, okay, I'm starting a business or I've
Hmm.
taken over a business,
Okay.
and they're young into their entrepreneurial career, or even looking back at like you in that situation, what would you say to yourself?
Um, I would have said to myself to probably have a little bit more cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, have just a little bit of oops, a little more oops room. I had some,
Yeah,
but not nearly enough. Um, and I would say just spend an absurd amount of time getting to know your customers.
yeah,
Like, there's nothing more important
yeah,
of, yeah, shaking those hands, kissing those babies, and in a retail environment or um, yeah, I don't know. It probably extends further than that, but I'll focus on sort of a retail
yeah,
storefront just based on, is you gotta like, it's got to come from you.
yeah,
And so like, if you're in a business to just be in business and check boxes on the Excel spreadsheet of profits and losses, and that's all you really deeply care about, which is fine. If that's what you want to do, you should just be an accountant and work in a bigger company. But if you run a small operation, you gotta you gotta really appreciate where your paycheck comes from.
yeah,
You gotta know that Marilyn just made my day.
yeah,
Like, not only did she make that lemon olive oil suggestion,
yeah,
that then turned into something a year and a half later, but if I was worried about numbers and I didn't let that suggestion fester in my head,
yeah,
and I wrote her name on a business card and stuck it up on the wall. I think I kept it for like 10 or 12 years. Marilyn's name,
yeah,
lemon olive oil, on my business card. She wrote it. And yeah, you got to do that.
mm-hmm.
And you got to do as much of it as you can with as many of those clients as you can, because you create fans, you create people that become a part of your ecosystem, and then you get to help them,
Yeah,
and then you get to like be a part of their lives. And in food, it's they got to eat 3 times a day, so hopefully 2-3 nights a week I'm
yeah,
on their mind saying, wow, Gord killed it,
yeah, absolutely.
amazing, this made my life easier, holy cow, that was good,
Yeah.
let's get it again.
And so in that, similar question, but when your customers leave, what's your goal? Like what do you want them to feel?
I don't know if anyone's ever asked me that question. Um, I- yeah, I want them to feel like they've been a part of of our success, and I want them to feel like they've just made an absurdly good decision. Like, we're gonna taste an oil in a minute, but when when they have a memory of, a first time customer will say, they have a memory of, oh, this one time I was drizzling some olive oil and I see everyone on Food Network, sort of, oh, you should taste your olive oil and it's awful.
Yeah.
And then they come into my store and they just drank like 10 samples of oils and vinegars and stuff like that. And they're like, this is life changing.
Yeah.
So it really is like we don't have olive trees here, right? So
Yeah.
it's my job to teach you what those olive trees can do from faraway places. And so, yeah, I want them to feel enlightened. I want them to feel like, yeah, they just gave me 40 or 50 or 20 or $10 and just feel like that was like the best $10 I've ever spent.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I want them to feel like good value and like experience and wow, I can't wait to come back.
I love it.
Yeah.
So 15 years ago, you opened your doors. What does the company look like now? How has it evolved?
So, yeah, we're 30 people. So it started with me. We got 30 people now. We have 5 locations, I guess, technically now.
Mhm.
With the sixth, we just got a building permit like 2 days ago. It was amazing. I was so excited that we've been trying to get this building permit for quite some time. But
Yeah.
so yeah, we have technically 6 locations as soon as that one opens, and yeah, we got farmers markets, and we've got. So, are you familiar with Calgary Farmers Market? Have
Yeah.
you been there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Land of milk and honey.
Yeah.
It's just the best place to be for my business. Like we do everything fresh. We're interactive. We're making pasta there and stuff like that. So we got both Calgary Farmers Markets. Going. Pasta machines are going. Kitchen is making the sauces, all the meatballs, and we're vac packaging and we're doing all the stuff, getting it all out to the stores. And so, yeah, what does Soffritto look like now? It's a machine. We had people in it at 6:30 this morning. The pasta machines are running by 6:45. Um, we we have another part of our business that is called Forno di Fontaine.
Okay.
And so, um, yeah, how to explain it? A camping trip. We'll start with that. Um,
All good and bad ideas
yeah,
start with a
can you
camping trip.
imagine working for me? My brain is all over the place.
I love it.
So yeah, I think I read it in a magazine or something like that. Something tipped me off that you could get one of these small little wood pellet pizza ovens.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'm going camping. Need to refine my dough. I want to work on it, make it better. We were making one take and bake pizza. That's it. And it was dough, just dough, margarita. And we're really the only people insane enough to do it. Like we'd make it and we'd want you to put it in your oven like 2 hours later. Otherwise it would stick to the paper or the cooking board. So I was like, I want to get better at this. I want to spend some time on it. Trying to find this oven. Can't find it. Can't find it. Can't find it. We go to Montana. We can't find it anywhere. And then I just sort of, yeah, I was like, why don't I become an uni pizza oven dealer? There's no one doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
So
Why not? Hey?
why not? So we crossed the border. I found a guy in Ontario that was a distributor, and really there was nobody out west at the time. And I think I ordered 30 ovens.
Yeah.
Guy thought I was insane. He's like, no one's ever ordered 30 of these. Like, what? I'm like, well, I have 5 of them sold already, and that really started Forno di Fontaine,
Wow.
where we just started fixing all those little nuances for trying to make Neapolitan pizza at home. And so we were selling these ovens and we were having to coach the customers. It's really not a part of my business where we just kick something out the door and don't support it. So
Right.
like I'm going to people's houses, making pizza, we're making dough together. I'm helping them, figure out how to launch. And in the beginning of Uni, did you ever have one? A wood fired oven?
No,
No.
no, like a pizza oven?
Yeah.
No, I have a wood fired like a pellet barbecue,
Okay.
but never pizza.
Uh,
No.
come and grab. Actually, so you had Bob on,
Yeah, yeah,
so he borrowed one of my pizza ovens a little while ago, and yeah, you can take it home and try it. Anyway,
I love it.
back to what I was getting at is that you know it was hard in the beginning because
Yeah,
they burnt pellets in a wood smoker,
yeah,
like a barbecue smoker. It's forcing air,
yeah,
so that fire is easy to manage. They turn the fan on and off, and you get a flame going. Well, with these ovens, it's the chimney that's sucking the air out, and so occasionally the wind comes and the fire dies, and then you get a stone that's not hot enough, and so there's all these little complexities that I just had to work through with people um, to help them use these 30 ovens that I had sold them at, I don't even know, $400 a shot, I think.
yeah,
And so, yeah, it just became part of our learning process in that final 5%.
yeah,
It's like, oh, if I mix that dough a little bit longer, it's a little bit easier for the customer to use. And then I start testing it myself, and I was like, oh, I'm getting kind of good at this. And then, um, yeah, we because of those Uni pizza ovens, and because I went camping and got frustrated, I couldn't get one, and then I became a dealer. We ended up at Granary Road Farmers Market.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know if you've ever been there, but
I haven't been for a few years. I used to go when my kids were younger because the park there is
yeah, it's
awesome.
incredible
Yeah,
park. Yeah. So the pizza oven that's there.
yeah.
So we operated that pizza oven for I think 7 years, I think.
Oh, wow.
And so then it got real. Like we had to do this now 140 times a day or 150 times a day.
Yeah,
When that place first opened, it was a gong show.
yeah.
Like we were doing sometimes 200 pizzas in a day.
Wow.
And so yeah, we just continually, you know, that final 5% that, well, it was probably 50% at the beginning. We probably didn't make the best pizza in the beginning, but we got good really quick. And so yeah, that's one of our uh, no longer Granary Road, but it's then morphed into now Forno di Fontaine at the West Farmers Market.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, it took me 20 minutes to get there. I'm sorry.
No, no, I love it. I love it.
Um,
It's fun to watch, and you're so what I love about you is like your evolution is all based on conversations with customers, like figuring out like
mhm,
it's a very hands-on, like there's not a I don't know, it's a very natural progression, from like how you've managed to do it. So to
mhm.
see this all come about in 15 years, do you ever get nervous though with like when you think you have 30 employees? Just like I would think about like cutting the paychecks all the time and going like, you have 30 people relying on you, and not to make you nervous, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, so you mentioned a key thing. Do I get nervous? And you mentioned payday.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Particularly in the last 7 years,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
um,
What happened over that time frame?
yeah, yeah, lots of changes in Alberta.
Yeah.
Um, we, what started that nervousness was uh, a period of growth that we had as a company.
Yeah.
So we decided we were going to open Granary Road,
Yeah.
and then Granary Road came to us as a bit of a surprise, but an opportunity. Like, oh, we got to do this. But we'd already set our sights on our Mahogany location,
Okay.
and so that would have been like our Mahogany location would have been like the first one that we'd sort of like committed to build from scratch. We didn't
Right.
walk into it with nuts and bolts. It was a blank space. So really foreign territory for me.
Yeah.
So, and right around that time is when the economy started to slow.
Mm-hmm.
We can sit down and have a beer and talk about the nuances of who did what and cause those things in the economy, but um, it slowed, and we opened 2 stores, and they boomed, and then they just went down and down and down and down and down for um, in sales for a long time.
Yeah.
And so um, we we went through a period of time where it was like next month's going to be better. Man, I'm an optimist, right? Like it's like it'll be better. We're hearing on the news that things are picking up and this industry is getting better, and
Yeah.
it's like, and it just wasn't. It wasn't. So, um, yeah, we're starting to recover now today, like almost recovered from 7 or 8 years ago.
Insane.
Um,
Hey.
And so when you're in that state of, yeah, I got bills to pay. I got to, take care of those problems from 7 years ago with the government and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
every payday's tight because any extra dollar that you have,
Yeah.
it goes to fixing problems that are in the past. So I'm so pumped to be, yeah, like we're basically done.
Yeah.
With the problems of 7 years ago.
Knock
Yeah,
on wood.
yeah,
But I love, despite this, is what I love about entrepreneurs is despite the challenges, you're still thinking about, okay, how do we grow? How do we get better?
yeah, yeah.
I love, okay, let's try some of this.
Okay, let's
If
do it.
that's cool. And then so maybe just explain what I'm taking shots of and if
Okay.
I'm allowed to drive home after I'm done this.
Yeah, you are indeed. So this is an experience you're gonna have in our store.
Okay.
We like you would really probably have to talk us into not letting you sample it.
Yeah.
We want you to. We
I-
want you to know, if you're our customer, that you like it. Like
Right.
you have the opportunity to love this, or you might love the next one or the one after if you don't like this one.
And it's kind of funny because the idea of, like, I've had olive oil, obviously, but the idea of like even knowing what olive oil
hang on
like
to it.
tastes like,
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? Because I have never had shots of olive oil. I'll say that.
So that's the customer experience. So that's what's broken in the olive oil business is
Yeah.
that they're kind of counting on the people that aren't making great oils.
Yeah.
They're counting on the fact that you're not going to drink this and
Right.
realize, ooh, no bueno. So yeah, the first thing that you're going to want to do with an olive oil, if you're a sommelier, this would be in a blue cup and it'd be on a warmer. We're not that fancy on the road. You're just going to take this cup and you're going to rub it on your hand like this to kind of warm it up a little bit. It's kind of warm in the office, so it probably doesn't have to be that warm. So first thing you're going to do is smell. So don't even think about it. Just say the first thing that comes to mind.
Shit. There was a distinct smell that came to mind. It's grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, grass, totally agree. Either like wet grass or like cut grass.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. It's like you just mowed the lawn.
You're on the golf course. There was dew. So I get a little bit of banana, like green banana, like if you accidentally bit the peel a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So basically here, we would just train you, look for nature. So this is an Arbequina olive oil. So just like a Pinot Noir grape or a Cabernet grape, Arbequina is the olive oil for this one. And we have several different types. We have Picual, we have Frantoio, we have, so I might love Arbequina olives, you might not. So this is why tasting is critical. So first step, nature. So you want to smell leaves, trees, grass, tomato leaf, bananas, fruit, stuff like that. So I chose a robust one.
Okay.
And I chose a robust one because I didn't think we were going to sit here and slurp 10 different olive oils to make a point. Is that a robust oil is going to give you a peppery sensation in the back of your throat.
Oh, if this is why you were telling me I was going to cough.
You're going to cough. So this is also what made COVID hard for us because I want you to sample this and I know it's going to make you cough. And now we have COVID. Not fun. So
no,
I'm glad it's over. I'll slurp it. You don't have to slurp it. Slurping it is going to intensify it quite a bit.
Okay.
You're going to feel a peppery sensation in your throat. It might make you cough. Trust me, you're not going to die. And you're able to drive home. It's fine.
Okay.
So slurping it looks like this. So spreads it over the back of your tongue.
Yeah.
Very astringent. So don't slurp it. So fruity.
Yeah.
Clean.
Yeah.
Olive oil should not be greasy. Are you feeling a little pepper in the back of your throat?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the peppery sensation is delayed a little bit.
It's interesting though because you're not. I don't even know if pepper smells, but it's you're not going to be expecting that as a flavor.
Yeah. So this is what we look for. So the fact that you took a second sip
It's good.
It's good, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's enjoyable. You've never drank olive oil in your life, and you just drank it twice.
yeah,
So, this is the type of experience that we want people to have. And so now to explain what the peppery sensation is, it's the antioxidant in olive oil. So if this is the first time that you've noticed pepper in an olive oil, chances are it's the first time olive oil has ever done anything for you.
right,
So in the middle of the prairies, where we don't grow olives, we don't get this on the regular.
right.
We get it. So you, yeah, that's the experience. Is you get something that's peppery, you get something that's grassy, you get something that, oh God, what happens when I put a vinegar in this? What happens if I put like a guava rosé white balsamic with this? What does it do to my salad? Like, and so yeah, that's the type of excitement that we get to have, and
Yeah,
the flavors are endless. We got, so to give you an idea, you're a beer guy, you talking liters all the time. Every single location would have the ability, if all the jugs were full. So we use
yeah,
a fusti. It's like, looks like a little miniature keg.
yeah.
It's got a little pour spout on it. They're all 10 to 15 liters. So if everyone was full, in each of our booths, we'd have 650 liters in each one. Well, it's not a small amount.
No.
And so, and then plus we have the backup for them.
Yeah,
So now we got to manage, a couple locations, all with 650 liters, all of different types and all of different, batch codes and dates and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
it's, there's certain parts of this business that can be a labor of love, because it does take a lot to sort of, to get it moved around and get it all out to stores and get people trying it.
yeah.
And we bottle right there. So like you come in, you take that sip out of the fusti, I bottle it, we package it, put a label on it, off you go.
Love it.
So yeah, it's a pretty full experience. Like that's, to me, so like we were talking about a tomato salad earlier.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you want that with just a little crack of salt and pepper, add balsamic or don't. That's just interesting enough right there.
so that's the most important thing to add, more so than balsamic, we would say.
Well, depending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Depending,
just in
depending
your
on your
opinion,
goal.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we spent a lot of time on olive oil. Balsamic is just as interesting.
yeah,
We could do another 2 hours on that. But so, in short, we want fresh oil.
yeah,
Fresh is better. That pepper sensation is dying over time. Vinegar is the exact opposite. The
yeah.
older it is, the better it is.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So yeah, we get a much better product when a vinegar is older,
Yeah,
and we don't have to mess with it. No sugar, no dyes, no caramel. Just so the only thing that should be in balsamic vinegar is grapes
yeah.
and red wine vinegar. And so yeah, ours takes 18 years to make. So yeah,
That's crazy.
it started before I even started my company.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding, hey?
It's wild. We get lots of kids that come in. They're like, "Wow, this started before I was even born."
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of neat.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I'm yeah, like I said, I feel very lucky to get to meet guys like you and get to have these conversations, because it's yeah, just, what people are passionate about and what people are doing.
Yeah.
Do you ever just kind of look at what you've created and go, how the hell did I get here?
Yeah. It yeah, that happens. Yeah, I've created a monster for sure.
Yeah. Good for you.
And yeah, more often than not, it's fun.
Yeah.
But hey, we have challenges just like every other business, and I get beat up a little bit, and then I come or I'll go and do like, the other day we did a pop up at Willow Park.
Yeah.
Or we did one over by right across from the Foothills Hospital.
Yeah.
And my phone was off. I was talking to people all day, giving out samples. People were telling me that they they got our stuff one time and they made this great salad, and I was like, wow. I haven't thought about bookkeeping. I haven't thought about menu development. I've just been here talking to people that love our product and love the experience, and so it's those kind of days that kind of fix me. Like,
Yeah.
this is what I should be doing. This
Yeah.
is yeah. If I could have my way, it would be the business would just magically run itself, and I could just be out on the floor, having fun, talking to people. Making a pizza in 2 minutes and like completely changing their perception of pizza, and then adding an olive oil to it and try this olive.
Awesome, man.
It's my deal.
Good for you, man. Thanks for taking the time to share your story. But I'm glad that people like you exist. Our lives are better for it.
Thank you for bringing me in, and I'm gonna have to spend a bit more time at some beer festivals, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, don't worry, I'll get you there. Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Take care.
Thanks so much for listening to the Create Podcast. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. See you next Wednesday.